Welcome back to the channel, the show where we explore ideas that can transform your life. Today, we're diving into a book that promises to do just that. James Clear's groundbreaking work, Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results.
It's a fascinating read, isn't it? Clear's premise is quite bold. Imagine a life where your biggest aspirations aren't just distant dreams, but become inevitable realities, where reaching your goals is a natural consequence of tiny, almost imperceptible shifts in your daily routine. It sounds almost too good to be true, but he really backs it up.
Absolutely. And what's particularly compelling is that this isn't some abstract self-help philosophy. It's built from personal experience and rigorous scientific research. In fact, his story begins not in a boardroom, but on a baseball field.
Yes, his personal journey is quite central to the book's foundation. He was a promising young athlete, dreaming of playing professionally like his minor league dad, but on the final day of his sophomore year of high school, a devastating accident occurred. A teammate's bat slipped and struck him squarely between the eyes. He shattered his nose, fractured his skull, and his brain slammed against the inside of his skull, leading to him losing consciousness and being airlifted to a major hospital. He was even placed in a medically induced coma.
A truly horrific experience. When he woke up, he was dealing with double vision, memory gaps, and an inability to smell. The recovery was long and arduous. It took 8 months before he could even drive again. And physical therapy was a struggle for basic motor skills. His dream of professional baseball seemed shattered, and a year later he was cut from the varsity team.
Most people would probably give up at that point. But James Clear held on to a flicker of belief, understanding that if things were to improve, it was up to him. The real turning point came 2 years after his injury, when he started college at Denison University.
And here's the first surprising insight. He didn't immediately set grand goals like becoming an academic All-American. Instead, he focused on tiny, almost ridiculously small improvements. While his peers partied, he prioritized sleep, going to bed early each night. He also made sure his room was always neat and tidy, which, while not earth-shattering, gave him a sense of control. And, slowly, his confidence returned.
And those tiny changes had a ripple effect. His newfound belief extended to his academics, where he earned straight A's his first year. He also started lifting weights a few times a week, gradually building his slender frame. By his sophomore year, he earned a starting role on the pitching staff, became team captain by his junior year, and then all-conference. 6 years after that life-altering injury, he was named the top male athlete at Denison University and earned a spot on the ESPN Academic All-America team.
It's an incredible story of resilience, achieved not through a single defining moment, but through a gradual evolution, a long series of small wins and tiny breakthroughs. This, he argues, is the very essence of atomic habits, the idea that small changes, seemingly insignificant at first, compound into remarkable results over time.
He likens habits to the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as a penny doubled every day quickly becomes a fortune, a 1% improvement each day, sustained over a year, makes you 37 times better than when you started. Conversely, getting 1% worse leads you nearly to zero. It's a powerful analogy, like the subtle shift of an airplane's heading by a few degrees at takeoff, determining whether it lands in New York or Washington, D.C.
So the book dives into a profound distinction between goals and systems. Most of us are obsessed with goals, the desired outcomes we want to achieve. But Clear argues that goals are only good for setting a direction. True progress comes from focusing on your systems, the repeatable processes that lead to those results.
It makes so much sense. Every Olympian wants a gold medal, and every job applicant wants the job. What differentiates the winners from the losers isn't the goal, but the system they follow. Achieving a goal is a momentary change. It doesn't address the underlying system that produced the initial outcome. If you clean a messy room without changing your sloppy habits, it will soon be messy again. This leads to another aha moment. True long-term thinking is goal-less thinking, focused on continuous refinement.
This brings us to the core of the book, Clear's simple yet powerful 4 Laws of Behavior Change. He explains that every habit, good or bad, follows a 4-step feedback loop. Cue, craving, response, reward.
Let's break those down. Cue. This is the trigger that initiates a behavior. Craving. The motivational force, the desire to change your internal state. Response. The actual habit you perform. Reward. The end goal, which satisfies the craving and teaches your brain to repeat the action.
To build good habits, you apply these laws in reverse. 1. Make it obvious. Cues need to be visible. 2. Make it attractive. Cravings need to be strong. 3. Make it easy. Responses need low friction. 4. Make it satisfying. Rewards need to be felt immediately.
And to break bad habits, you simply invert them. 1. Make it invisible. 2. Make it unattractive. 3. Make it difficult. 4. Make it...
Clear really excels at illustrating each law with captivating stories and practical strategies. For Make It Obvious, he tells the tale of a paramedic who intuitively sensed her father-in-law was having a heart attack based on subtle facial cues she had unconsciously learned. This highlights how much our brains process without conscious thought. He introduces the Habit Scorecard, a simple way to list your daily actions and label them as good, bad, or neutral as a first step towards self-awareness.
And a delightful example he shares is the pointing and calling system used by Japanese railway workers, who physically point at objects and verbally call out their status, reducing errors by 85%.
It makes the cues impossible to ignore. For Make It Attractive, he delves into the fascinating world of dopamine. The brain releases dopamine not just when you receive a reward, but when you anticipate it. This is why temptation bundling is so powerful, linking an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Ronan Byrne, an engineering student, famously rigged his stationary bike to his laptop so Netflix would only play if he cycled at a certain speed, effectively eliminating obesity one Netflix binge at a time. Genius!
Make It Easy is all about reducing friction. Clear introduces the law of least effort. Humans naturally gravitate towards options that require the least amount of work. He shares the ingenious 2-minute rule. When starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Want to read more? Read 1 page. Want to exercise? Tie your running shoes. The goal isn't to achieve the outcome in 2 minutes, but to master the habit of showing up.
Finally, Make It Satisfying is about immediate rewards. Our ancient brains are wired for immediate gratification. The consequences of good habits are often delayed, while bad habits offer instant pleasure. So to make good habits stick, we need to inject immediate satisfaction.
The story of Stephen Luby in Pakistan, who reduced disease rates by introducing a pleasant-smelling, lathering soap for hand washing, beautifully illustrates this. The feeling of clean hands became an immediate reward, reinforcing the habit. Clear also emphasizes habit tracking, like Jerry Seinfeld's "Don't Break the Chain" method for joke writing, as a powerful visual cue and immediate reward.
And then there's the advanced tactics section, where perhaps the most profound and unexpected insight comes in. Clear discusses the truth about talent and the downside of creating good habits. He argues that while genes don't predetermine your destiny, they do determine your areas of opportunity. The secret to success isn't just hard work, but hard work in the right field. If you can't win by being better, he suggests, win by being different. Combine your skills to...
That's a powerful shift in perspective. And the warning about the downside of creating good habits is crucial too. Whew. Once a habit becomes automatic, we can become complacent, less sensitive to feedback, and prone to mindless repetition. The solution? A system for reflection and review. He mentions NBA coach Pat Riley, who implemented the Career Best Effort program, getting his Lakers to commit to improving by just 1% each season. This regular review prevents the gradual decline that can occur when habits become too ingrained.
It really brings it all together. Atomic Habits is more than just a book about productivity. It's a manual for human behavior. It's about becoming the person you want to be, one tiny vote at a time. It's a journey from reacting to your environment to becoming the architect of your own life.
And by understanding these atomic forces, as he calls them, you can unlock a remarkable future. Not through massive transformations, but through the compounding power of tiny, consistent changes. It truly makes you think about how small steps can lead to monumental results.
Exactly. So if you're ready to stop wishing and start doing, the pathway is clear, and it begins with a single small step. We highly recommend checking out James Clear's Atomic Habits.
That's all for this episode of Unlocking Your Potential. Thank you for joining us.